Well, as you know, the stage is set to build some effective and powerful panel discussion out here. We all know India today is standing at the center of one of the most remarkable digital transformation the world has ever witnessed. From digital payment to AI-driven innovation, from startups disrupting industries to technology empowering millions. The idea of Digital Bharat is no longer a vision of a future. It's a reality. It's a reality unfolding right before us now. Technology today is just not about efficiency or innovation or automation. It is about creating the right kind of opportunities, empowering talent, and building solutions that serve the society with meaningful purpose. Whether it's in AI, fintech, digital infrastructure, or a startup ecosystem, innovation is rapidly reshaping how India work, learn, create, and grows. Well, but this transformation comes with a lot of important questions. How will technology redefine the future of India's workforce? How can innovation be aligned with the purpose and national development? And how do we ensure that digital revolution benefits every corner of our country? Well, to explore this powerful ideas, we move into the next panel discussion titled Digital Bharat and Innovation with Purpose, How Technology is Reshaping India's Workforce and Economy. And to guide us through this great conversation, we have exceptional group of leaders and innovators who will take the forefront of India's digital journey in front of us today on this stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm pleased to host this panel discussion too. And as you know, I have introduced myself in the opening note, so I won't be taking the time to introduce myself and the team. But let's start with today's panel discussion with the theme Digital Bharat and Innovation with Purpose, how technology is reshaping India's workforce and economy. I'll introduce our distinguished panelists one by one. So first we have Mr. Akhlesh Mathur, President and CEO of RBMI Group of Institutions, who has spent decades building an academic ecosystem aligned with industry needs, preparing thousands of students for real-world careers. Next, we have Mr. Yogesh Rao, who is an expert at the intersection of AI, cybersecurity, digital governance, and business transformation, advocating for innovation that is secure, accountable, and inclusive. Then we have Dr. Giriraj Bajaj, who brings deep insights into enterprise innovation and how organizations can move from fragmented experimentation to scalable and responsible AI adoption. Then we have Dr. R.K. Sharma, one of telecom's most respected thought leaders with decades of experience shaping India's communication infrastructure, from AI-enabled networks to the future of possibilities of 6G and quantum communication. Then we have Dr. Shweta Singh. She is serial entrepreneur, intellectual property expert, founder of Renewable IP and creator of Hachi, the world's first women-only professional networking platform on Web3. And last, we have Dr. Chitra Ranjan, managing directors at Radical Life Sciences, leader bringing strong focus on sustainable and renewable energy development. So I welcome all of you to Bharat 2.0 Conclave and this panel discussion with the theme of, so my first question, so we are doing this panel in 3 segments. That would be, first one will be about the Digital Bharat vision, second will be about everyone's individual expertise, and third will be about the big question that we are facing, that is AI. So my first question, which is common for everyone, I would expect everyone to answer this question is, from AI to automation, technology is rapidly reshaping industries. What major transformation do you foresee in India's workforce over the next decade? I'll start with Mr. Mathur.
So great. I think it's always tough to do a session when you're just away from the lunch. So people are very eager for you to be very fast. So I think it's a very relevant question. Of course, in India, AI is going to be transformational, primarily because of productivity. But it's also a challenge because India is a very labor-intensive country. So how do you create more sustainable jobs? But I think India is primarily two India. One is the India which everybody has access to everything, and maybe international schools, Ivy League education. But then there is other India, which is the Bharat, where they don't have mentorship, they don't have access to basic things. I mean, for AI, for them, is just like another jargon. So how do you democratize technology to the masses of India? It's the biggest challenge for India, I think. But beyond that, I think how we become from service to application-based. And one of the companies, I'm not investor in that company, but I was in London Metro, a tube, and I saw Zoho. And Zoho's ads were there. And I spoke to some of the MSMEs in UK. They are using Zoho. So that's a great product which India has launched. So it's not, so I think to summarize, AI is going to be there in every field, but for some it will be direct, and for some it will be indirect. I don't think everybody should just be running like a rat race for one thing.
I continue, right? So I think Akhlesh has already mentioned few things. I would like to just add few more. See, when we look at India as a brotherhood of and sisterhood of 140 billion, 140 crores, right? We are also looking at the demographic dividend that the country offers itself getting challenged. In the sense that what we knew are hands and legs and shoulder and above the shoulder kind of skills are slowly waning, or maybe there's a need to pivot to something new. And that something new is going to be AI and technology supporting AI. Where are we on that is a question to introspect. Two is when we look at all the good things that India has done, we talk about UPI, we talk about public infrastructure, so on and so forth. Most of them, if not all, are on borrowed technologies. When we say borrowed technologies, they're not indigenous. And what happens when you don't have indigenous technologies is that anybody can twist the arms, right? We are seeing, Strait of Hormuz. We are talking about AI getting fired, and somebody sent me a meme that we are talking about LLMs, and LLMs, when you go down the pyramid, I think next round of panel discussion I'm going to talk about, when we go down, right, there's energy that is required. And where do you get energy from? You get energy either from electricity, which by the way comes from coal-fired, petro-fired, or it has to be sustainable or renewable, right? I think that entire quotient is now getting challenged. And my job over here is to ensure that we are looking well into the mirror. I've been doing lots of such talks all the way, including but not limited to governments, that we need to become indigenous, the say to do, right? We are going to say lots of things, but what we are going to do after collaboration is something that is going to be of prima donna importance as we walk out of this premise.
Thank you. I'll go next. First of all, thank you, Dhruv, for setting this up. And the most important part that I got to know so much diverse people are out here. And special thanks for making this, because it's impossible to exchange visiting cards with everyone. But you have collated nicely all the names so that you can get connected on LinkedIn. So thank you so much. This is, I think, the brilliant takeaway from this particular session. Coming back to the question which Dhruv asked is about workforce transformation. So I'll be talking about just two things, no big deal. The first is about the skills. So what AI has done today is AI has democratized the skilling. We don't want to go, or a person does not want to go to a big school or to a formal education to get himself skilled. Look at the training session which are offered by Claude, by ChatGPT. So anyone who has the intent to do good, to skill himself better, AI would be able to help him upskill by themselves. So what it means for India? For a population that big, which is remote, which is at different strata of people, AI gives them equal opportunities. So when it gives equal opportunities, they can skill themselves, they can bring on their ideas to life. Second thing about workforce transformation is everyone is scared about whether my job would be there or not in future. It's an important question, and we ask this particular question in and out in our business organization. So when I talk about, just don't think on the adverse side, think on the positive side. Like we all have Gmail accounts. Gmail took around 7 to 8 years to get to 100 million customers. Facebook took around 4.5 years to get to 100 million customers. Instagram took around 2.5 years to get into 100 million customers. But look at ChatGPT. In mere 2 months, they crossed 100 million customers. What it means that the J curve is getting shorter and shorter. That means if you have an idea, you have an intellect, there is a way to capitalize it. I think that's the most important factor which AI is bringing in. Coming back to the place where people are posing a question that whether my job will be relevant or not, I think the simplest way which I explain to my clients as well my people who are working with me, anything and everything which you are doing by a way of SOP, where you are following a simple if-else, that if this is coming, I do this, without a little bit of human intellect coming into play, cognitive thinking by AI is going to replace it. So wherever you are following an SOP-driven kind of business, AI will be taking it over in next 2 to 3 years. So that's my submission towards workforce transformation.
Thanks, very well articulated. So my inputs on that, how AI is going to transform the infrastructure, network infrastructure. So everyone is facing network issue here. So what you expect from the network? It should be intelligent enough to connect the nearest Wi-Fi or to satellites. Like it's very common nowadays, like Elon Musk has. So 3 points that I would like to take: that intelligence, native AI for the networks. So now in a network, everyone is connected a billion of devices, and maintaining those and optimizing, that's a huge ask. And keeping a network live, that is also a huge challenge. So AI can automate those things, fault detection, prediction, and that way it can optimize the resources. And like in one tower, suppose there is 1 million people standing over there, and next hour there is a hub like this, and there is a 2 million. So how you can improve, or intelligent network should be enough to optimize those things. So these are something is going to bring that on. And next is the quantum revolution. Now everyone has heard about what quantum can bring. So like right now, every digital transaction is based on some encryption and algorithms, and which is challenged by quantum computing, which is sure algorithms, which can break the RSA. So that is going to be a huge threat. So the network should be also quantum secure enough, and it can sustain that PQC, post-quantum computing era. And third point will be the network should be open digital. Like I saw many presentations, healthcare and all. So there are lots of data. How you are going to process the data quickly? Like one person visit a clinic, he wants to assess a doctor, so 5 minutes one cannot do. You need to process an intelligence processor who can process data at the quantum speed. Like many nowadays, you might be heard about the discovery of the predictions of cancers with the reports and predictions, everything. So everything is feasible with the quantum computing AI, where AI limits, quantum starts. So these two combination, AI with quantum computing intelligence, is going to disrupt the next supervision. Yes, and of course, there comes the threat that why the job challenge and other things. So it's like simple thing is that you need to continuously a learner. And every time the technology involves, in the past also when computer internet comes, there was a security that jobs will be not there. But now you have to adopt it, and it's going to disrupt the repetitive task. Whatever we are doing repetitively, that our intelligence and quantum can remove it, and it will upskill the people where you will need as architects, cyber security experts. So it's always a other way around. One type of repetitive job ends, then another type of job starts. The only thing is the adaptability that we need to carry forward to this one. Yeah, thanks.
So first of all, thank you so much for setting this wonderful panel and such a, I would say, incredible speakers from all the way. And thank you for setting intellectual property as a center of this. I found one of the speakers dedicated for intellectual property, because without innovation, without IP, economy is a dead economy then. Coming back to your question, when we talk about digitalization of a country, three things which I would like to focus is: first, a skill will be always prioritized in future over the degrees, because if you don't have a skill, the degrees won't work. So AI will not beat the jobs actually, it will only push the people who will learn the AI or learn the digital platforms. Second is, human intelligence will never be outdated, because the machines, the computers can only fetch the data, process the data, analyze the data. But the ethics, the way that has to be executed, the way someone is needed to work on the AI. And we as an Indian have always, I would say, off-beaten any technology coming to our country. So I'm sure that India, human intelligence will never be outdated. No digital, no AI, no machine learnings or LLMs can take our intelligence away. Third is, you will see that in next 10 years, India will be pushed from service economy to innovation economy. And we have started talking about this. We have more and more dialogues coming from all the sectors, because innovation is now the center of any economy to be growing and to be ruling the world. Thank you.
My thanks to the organizers for inviting today. And it's good to be here with a room full of people who are thinkers, who are leaders, and who are seriously worried about or care about the future of our country. And as far as AI and technology is concerned, what I would like to say is we are at the cusp of a very phenomenal time, because we have the demographic. And the technology today, the AI which is coming today, I would say, whether you call it God's intervention or universe is colluding to help us, that we are the country, we will be the country which will be able to utilize it to the maximum. Because our people are going to be already they are quite conversant with digital technology. They will be using it a lot more than what we can think. And you're already seeing it. 15 years back, if somebody has told you that you will not be handling cash, we would have laughed at them. But today, how many of you actually go and withdraw money from the cash, from the banks? We don't. I don't even know where my branch is, where my account is. The same way, today we sit at our home, we call cab for a cab, we want to buy groceries, we want to have an appointment with the doctor. Everything we are doing sitting at home. And this is not even the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that can happen. And yes, there will be a lot of challenges. We'll be worried. We have to be worried about the LLMs. How will that come? How the data will be stored? How much of energy that's going to be consumed? That is something I wouldn't want to worry about it. There are Wipros and Infosys of the world which will take care of that. What I will be more interested in seeing how the people are going to use this technology. And you will be surprised the way the people adapt to technology in our country. One does previously in the 90s when I entered the technology IT industry, one has to have a certain level of educational qualification and certain financial heft to access technology. Today it has democratized so much that even a roadside vendor has a smartphone and he knows how to use it. Let me give you an example. I think WhatsApp came around 2009, 2010. I'm talking about 2014-15. I was in a small village near Bhuj. And there was this artist who was making some wall hangings, which is called Lippan Ka Kaam, a handcrafted thing. It was beautiful, very cheap. I picked up a few, and then I told him that, look, I like your work, I want to buy more, but I can't carry it on the flight because they won't allow me to do. So, and I don't need it immediately, but over a period of time, I'd need more of them. He says, Madam, WhatsApp chalu hai. This guy is not educated. He cannot even read or write. He cannot sign his name. This guy says, Madam, WhatsApp chalu hai mere phone mein. And I will send you all the work which I'm making with the cost there. You look at that and select the ones which you want and send it back to me. I will make it. Then I will send you the account number, because then those days UPI and all those. Right? I'll send you my bank account details. You transfer the money to me. This is how people use it. And today you have to go and see on the YouTube how creatively our people are using it. There are people who are teaching trigonometry, there are people Hindi, English, there are people teaching how to breathe, how to sleep, how to walk, how to talk, and these people are making money. And when I say they are making money, they are making insane amount of money. I know somebody who teaches law of attraction, and this lady makes 1 crore of rupees per month. And an IT industry person or somebody who has come out of IIT wouldn't think of making this kind of money in the beginning of the life. And this lady works 3 to 4 hours a day. So people will find a creative way to use it. It will not be man versus technology. It's man using intelligent technology to make creative and innovative products. So I feel there is a lot of hope for this country. And we are going to see phenomenal change, which will touch not only the industry, it will transform the way we live today. Every aspect of our life is going to get transformed. So I'm very, very hopeful, and I'm really waiting with bated breath what this technology can bring for us.
Thank you for opening up this panel with very insightful answers from everyone. So audience would wonder why these people, leaders, entrepreneurs from different categories are coming to a panel that is discussing one theme. So I guess that is the basic concept or basic theme about creating such a diversified communication or such a diversified dialogue, that minds from different industries come together, they discuss one theme, and then there is some fruitful outcome from that. So moving for second segment, next question is for Akhlesh Mathurji, and that is, as the leader of an educational institution, how do you see technology and digital learning transforming the way institutions prepare students for the evolving demands of India's workforce? I know it's a long question.
No, it's a great question, very relevant. And I think it's very relevant because with the advent of AI, there are two things are happening. How do you use AI in education? Use of AI in education. I'm going to elaborate on that. And the second part is what education you give so that it empowers them to be great employees, or they are doing their own startups. So two aspects to it. How you use AI in current education, which is in schools and colleges, and what do you educate them so that they become good AI practitioners, if you will. So the first part is what we are doing is we think in next 1.5 years, our teachers will be trainers. I think in the college and higher educations, every teacher will have to have a skill, a real skill to teach, to be a trainer. Because basic education, AI can provide. ChatGPT, everything is available. YouTube, everything is available. What they come to the classroom is having a collaborative discussion. Develop critical thinking. Work on disruption, because today's world, there's a lot of disruption. Developing courage to deal with disruption. I think that's what's going to be taught in the classrooms. And I think the lady before me was one of the speakers, Ms. Call. She spoke very eloquently about emotional intelligence. Because if you have that, you can deal with this disruption. Because when I was a student, things were changing every 5 to 6 years. Today, things change every 1 month. Just giving an example, we used to run SEO on Google. Now there's a different thing. Google has Gemini, so you have to deal with that. So Google is itself demolishing its search engine business, but because it knows if it does not do it itself, somebody else is going to do it for them. The other element is AI in education, but before that, it's all about application. How do you run an application? How do you do things? How you develop critical thinking? Because the next generation of skill will be prompt engineering. Because everything, but you can only do prompt if you know what to prompt. Otherwise, what are you going to prompt? So process excellence, whatever work you're doing, you need to understand what's the process. Because without knowing the process, what are you going to prompt? And the second is, as one of our panelists said, you still need human intelligence, which will be based on critical thinking, asking the right questions with the AI. Anyway, I don't know. What do you say? Same question?
I couldn't hear the last one.
No, I said,
Same question.
I'm done.
No, that's different. So moving on to next for Yogesh, related to your current pharma sector. With the growing adoption of AI, data analytics, and RPA across industries, how can organizations ensure that technology augments human capabilities rather than replacing them?
So technology augmenting human capability. I'll first, talk about a small story, right? So 1867, I think there was a lady born, Swedish lady, Madame Curie, Marie Curie, and only later to be found that she kind of discovered radioactivity. And when she used to come out of her labs, right, she used to carry in her gown radium, polonium, all of these things. She had, mind you, IQ of 180. How many people do we know existed with IQ of 180, right? And only later to be known that, she kind of passed away, allegedly so because of, bone skin cancer. Understand the bane, right over here. Typically we move forward and then we realize that there are certain banes. And I'm a practitioner of AI, so with full accountability and responsibility I'm saying. Same thing happened, the little boy and fat man were dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then we had all the non-proliferation treaties coming around. Where are we running like like with AI, right? Are we having that direction? And now when we look at it, right, I spoke about the indigenous, ways of doing things, and let's also try to distill, how the AI works, right? And bear with me, I'm trying not to get into technology, but something that has to precipitate really well across the age segments over here. So first is the inference. You imagine a pyramid that we are looking at. The top layer is the inference layer, whereas Akhlesh ji said, most of us are going to be firing prompts, right? You are from legal, you are from music industry, you are from IT, you are from pharma, you are from banking. That's called the inference layer, okay? That's where you fire prompts. Hence, from a skills perspective, you might not want to know the maths and science or the programming languages, R, Python, Lua, H2 or K9, but you need to have a good command over language, that language of choice, right? If you are a Russian, then Russian. If you are Bharatiya, then Indian, the Hindi or English. The next comes is where AI engineering as a skill is taking or picking up. Wherein now here you have certain LLMs, right? By the way, we have seen a few of the LLM owners doing rounds of Pentagon, hence no borrowed technology, right? What are they doing at Pentagon is a question to be fathomed. Is that you start fine-tuning the models. The LLM itself, so there's a horse, you are making that horse to look in a certain direction, to walk at a certain speed, all the vectors that you can possibly think. That's where the AI engineering comes, that now I am going to expose few of my documents, few of my SOPs, policies, rules, and collude that with the generic intelligence, the artificial generic intelligence that I have coming from the LLMs, which by the way are trained over billions and billions of books and articles and whatnot. You would see lots of copyright infringement. Now, in fact, I'm going to write a paper and I'm going to wait for some of the LLMs to seal it, and I'm going to get that money which nobody can, compensate with. That's how things are changing, right? You are producing content and it is serving two purposes. One is your content is getting consumed by the LLM. Second is you're infringing them for copyright violation. And people are happily playing because they are worth trillions of dollars now. The third layer that comes is where the LLM itself, which is the transformer technologies, right? These are transformer technologies. They take in certain data, some magic happens and something comes out. What happens in that black box, only the progenitor of the LLM knows. We as practitioners have some sight into what happens because we research lots and lots of papers, so we get to know that. And the lowest layer wherein we are seeing lots and lots of infusion of capital that's coming in India, which is the AI data infrastructure. You would have seen largest of the largest companies, right? Foreign companies, Indian companies, Government of India, Hyderabad, Panvel, huge AI facilities that are coming. Who is going to run and operate that? A gentleman spoke about quantum computing, superpositioning, right? Which means the state is not known till it is decided. I mean, you imagine that kind of a state, right? You don't know what the outcome is till you have seen. You see and you get a state. Imagine the kind of heat that it is going to generate. We to call it, like we have CPUs, CPUs to GPUs, GPUs to QPUs, quantum processing units. And then there are coolant. So the entire infrastructure is kind of changing. Now, once we talk about infrastructure, we also have to talk about data because everything is on data. The data over here, and I keep telling, right, we are consuming all the data's community, GitHubs of the world. We have our own data, we host our data and our data goes out. But are we getting any dividend for that other than that locker or docker that, we get? Most of our data we give for free. Data democratization is the best that happens in a democracy like India. Are we trying to draw a premium over there, right? We have to start enriching that data, and if data is going to drive business, AI is going to drive the data. So we need to have our own data, the sovereignty protected as clearly as we protect the territorial sovereignty. That's how the data sovereignty is going to happen. And then finally, we are having all of these getting fired through energy. Now I'll give a small, statistics over here. If you look at, we all know, right, the largest company by market cap over here that exists on this planet is NVIDIA. $4.2 trillion, equivalent to or surpassing 190 countries of the 195 countries that we know on this planet that exists. And surprisingly, the kind of raw material that is required for firing the GPUs, right? NVIDIA makes GPUs, are rare earth metals, which in the periodic table 11th standard we used to read. We never used to, because the question nahi aayega isme se, right? We knew that no questions will come. They are harnessing that, and they don't have reserves of that. They are 6th, 7th, maybe even behind. Next comes, white gold was discovered in Jammu and Kashmir, lithium, the charger for the electric vehicles, the charger for all the EV batteries that are going to come. We cannot be happy exporting that data and thinking that, okay, I've sold for 100 rupees per unit, when I know intrinsically it is not a petrol, it's not a car fuel, it's a rocket propellant. It could actually be enriched to $2,000. Where is that enrichment happening? That again goes back to, I'm trying to, kind of triangulate all of these things to, are we indigenous or are we creating only managers and employees, right? We have to start thinking towards that. And for that, when we look at our R&D spend, thankfully, this year, there's a stark increase. If you look at space technologies, not competing with Starlinks really, but yeah, we are kind of inching over there. Core R&Ds, core GPUs, core, servam and all of these things are coming. But I feel there is more and more focus, very, very razor sharp focus that is required over here. Now, thankfully, when we have the AI data infrastructure, most of the skills are going to gravitate towards that. So we have to shed away from the image of, okay, I know I am a BA in economics, what after that, right? Okay, I know how to use an LLM, okay. Because if you don't adopt, at least at a preliminary level, if you don't adapt or adopt LLMs or prompt engineering, you're falling out, clear. Okay, and I'm playing a deliberate role over here, even though I'm a practitioner, right? So that the right message gets precipitated.
Now, moving on to Dr. Giriraj. We have seen GCCs evolve from support centers to, strategic hubs or innovation hubs. So how do you see them shaping India's technological workforce and contributing to the broader concept?
Yeah, Dhruv, so this is about GCC transformation, right?
Yes.
The over years. So let me tell you my story, because it has been 20 years into industry now, and I have seen myself this industry changing from a shared services model, or before that it was just a pure outsourcing. It transformed into shared services model. Then it came to captives and now GCC. So what has changed? So change has been in multifaceted way the technology has been consumed. So first thing is a change in the mindset. So it was in 2009 and to 9 to 14, it was all about cost arbitrage. When I talk about cost arbitrage, that some engineer or some development in US, it's expensive, let's do it in India. So that was the prima facie model. Today, the shift has changed from cost arbitrage towards a value. Today, in GCC, we talk about what is the value we bring into the table. Before GCC, it was more headquarter-driven analysis. So what HQ wanted to do. So some headquarter in Europe would be guiding India GCC, India captive, they do this thing in that particular manner. Today, Indian GCC are giving an innovation tips and tricks towards the headquarters. So that's another shift which has come to the table. Third thing is about the change in the way the work is happening. So changes from 8-hour, 9-hour hard working towards smart working. So what AI has got into table now, there is a lot of innovation and smart working is possible. When I see my workforce, I don't see 1,000 people working for the client. I would see around 50 to 60 or 100 people backed by 20 odd agents, and those would be orchestrating those agents. So just to simplify, the mundane task which was done by SOPs will be now done by agents. For instance, like for example, you give me this chat with I think it has got 80 plus odd names. It's impossible for me to connect to everyone in this short span of time and exchange cards, exchange numbers. And it's impossible for me to do a Google search for these people to find it. I don't have that much time. What I'll be doing it? I'll be taking this and giving to my LinkedIn agent. What it will be doing is, it will be scanning those people, finding them on where they are on this earth, and get me to the LinkedIn. So straight away, those 200 people which are present here are there in my LinkedIn account. So that's a way of smart working. And that's possible because AI is present and the technology is there. The reason why I'm saying is, people are always thinking about that it will disrupt the workforce. But look at the numbers which are currently happening. 500 billion valuation of ChatGPT is currently more than the entire Indian capital market cap of all the IT companies together. So we together are around 300 billion, and just one company is commanding 500 billion. Another Claude and Anthropic is getting 380 billion. There is an optimistic valuation that we'll be reaching to 500 billion potential in AI by 2030, but I still feel it's a very rudimentary number. The number would be far higher, because the way IT services companies are accepting AI, training the workforce, this number would still be increasing. Coming back to the way the GCC has transformed. The GCC were earlier from just a support business, now has gone towards value. People have, from a hiring perspective, if I talk about the way we hire, so if you take up any IT company, services company, we will see a quarter-on-quarter reduction in the number where we are taking from campus. Doesn't mean that we are not hiring. We are hiring the right skilled people from the right places. We believe in the skill is the most important thing which clients demand these days. They don't demand formal education. So that is, again, a radical shift which is coming to the market. Obviously, the client are investing, people are more creative, and the best thing about Indian talent is the way they adapt things. I am really, really surprised the way even the person having 25 years of work experience into a technology which is going out of phase has invested its time and become productive by using of AI. So that is the thing which people are not even accounting. Indian talent is absolutely adaptable. They believe in themselves, and AI is not at all difficult. If you ask me personally, all the coding language which has happened till now are far more difficult what AI is. It is a conversational assistant. I just have to speak to it, and it guides me well. So that means the people who have done the hard stuff will be able to pick it easier. It's just the people are blinded that I'll be gone. And I, again, keep saying the same analogy which I talk to my clients, that look at IRCTC. When it came to the Indian market, it was only over-the-counter telling, issuing tickets. And people are thinking when AICT will come, there'll be job loss. but the amount of tickets sold were far increased than what we were used to do it earlier. So a similar thing, it's a cusp of the technology which we are yet to see. We will be able to do much more things with the help of AI because we'll have time and resources. So that's what will be unlocked in the coming 2 to 3 years. So that's how I see the industry getting transformed.
Great, great. Thanks for the answer, Dr. Bajaj. Coming to Dr. Sharma, telecom infrastructure has always been the crucial part of this evolution called Digital Bharat. So with the advancements like 5G and as you are working towards 6G, how do you see the telecom sector enabling the next phase of Digital Bharat that we are talking about?
So telecom infrastructure, which is the backbone of every digital economy. If you have intelligence, you have everything. If it is not in your hand, you cannot do anything. You have to go to the system. So this is what telecom infra has bring to people. Everyone has a mobile and he can do everything in that. So you need to be intelligence also into your hand, which is the next phase of revolution which network is bringing, and they are optimizing with AI native. What 5G and 6G is bringing the latency. Like one doctor in the US, he can perform the surgery, robotic surgery in India or in a remote village. This is what latency is one of the things which is the delay in the network, which is 5G and 6G. 5G is already rolled out most of the thing, and 6G is going to bring that latency to deal. So that is how it will be like real-time operation from the robotics, one surgeon sitting there and doing that. This is how network is building up, and added to this quantum, which is a new coin, is coming up. So like optimization and data modeling, the optimization and the security. These are the two. Like we have lots of data. Like everyone is doing data, ChatGPT, or it can be. But how we can optimize and use it properly. So we need a fast computing, quantum computing kind of thing, which use superposition, entanglement, and all those phenomena. And using that, it should be affordable and reachable to everyone on the phone or on the palm or somewhere. So as it can be properly utilized. If you and second is the security. Security is something which like medical data, stats are there. And if it is going to some other unauthorized people, then it can be a diverse effect. Similarly, the communication right now we are doing over everywhere. And if this is decoded, like now a concept of harvest now, decode later, which is means you can store data now, and once this quantum algorithms and things are coming up, you can decode and misuse that. So this is how we need to be secure both front, data optimization, along with this quantum security. So these are two coins which is flipping, and network should adopt it. And yeah, it's far away. It's not like day one it is there. And I will just like to end a story of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very famous nowadays, 3 years. But you know, GPT technology exists 10 years before. But what was happening, it was like story writing or something, it was used. But it was not used the way ChatGPT had transformed. So what it makes data accessible to everyone. And it's make it very easy. You can prompt and you can get the data. That's why the technology should be so much easy to use and understandable that it can bring the revolution. So ChatGPT has bring the revolution in AI. Now next, and everyone is adopting in all the way. Like LLMs are more in use, but at the same time, if you generate a LLM, it is model extraction can be done by such prompting that one. So you need to be authorized. There should be authorization like circuit breakers. Someone copy the intelligence, but authority should not be there. Someone can take your data, but it cannot be replicate or execute that one. So those things are something which required there from the network endpoint, and it should be connect to everyone over there. Yeah.
Thanks. Coming up to Dr. Shweta. As India's innovation ecosystem grows, there are certain problems associated with AI, deep tech, and other startups as well. So how important is IP, intellectual property protection, in ensuring that innovators and entrepreneurs can truly benefit from their own ideas and not the others?
See, when we are building a business, an organization, I will start with here that if you are building an organization or business, IP protection should be one of the key strategies you should inculcate in the beginning days. Without protecting your IP in your business, it's same like building a house without having the land ownership. Now, When you talk about startups, SMEs, universities, they should look up to the corporate Fortune 500 companies, how they have created their IP and how they are valued because of their IP. We all use Apple, right? All the accessories of Apple, including the iPhone and everything. But have you ever thought what is the value of their IP right now? They are 70% of their valuation lies with the intangible assets. And if you see the numbers, they can actually buy Arab countries right now with their valuation. And this valuation is based on their intangible assets. We mostly get confused when we build something, which IP, what IP, is it important? Because most of the time when we interact with the startups or the researchers or the innovator, they say that it costs money. It brings a cost, but we do not see the ROI later, right? We do not see the risk associated if we do not protect our IP today. Lately, in 10 years, I have seen the shift that people are, startups are, innovators are inclined toward, but not as much as they should be. As I mentioned earlier, we are shifting from service industry to service economy to innovation economy. IP is the backbone, will be the backbone we cannot ignore. Now, what IP brings for the startups and SMEs first, and for the universities too? First, it is the core that it is protecting what you are building in any form. Either it's technology, it will get patents, either it's your brand name or your, from which your consumers are identifying you, like trademarks, or your content, like copyright, or your product designs and all with the design patents. So they should be concentrating on these parts. Second, it attracts a lot of investment from the investors. And third, it attracts a lot of collaboration, global collaboration also, national collaboration also. Second, to the universities and higher education systems, we should not file patent just to be ranked among top education institutions. We should file patent for the innovation, to bridge that gap between industry and academia, and innovation and IP is only thing for the universities and HEIs to build this gap. Your students should be inculcated with the knowledge of IP. And third, to the SMEs, your trading, your globalization, your market value, everything lies with the IP. So IP is something you can ignore, but not for a longer time. Thank you.
Thanks for the inputs, Dr. Shweta. And the question for Dr. Chitra. Renewable energy is becoming a key pillar of India's sustainable growth. And we have understood the importance of renewable energy in the last few weeks, I would say. So how do you see technology and digital innovation accelerating the adoption of renewable energy across different industries, different sectors?
When we say renewable energy, it's comparatively a very nascent industry. If you forget about solar and wind, especially the area where I work, where waste to energy, it's a very new industry. And when it comes to adopting technology, and especially digital technology, we have not even scratched the surface of it. So there is a lot of scope, hell a lot of scope there, I will say. Whether you can do predictive analysis, you can do predictive maintenance, digital twins to assess how the plant will work later on, smart connectivity to grids, smart sensors. The list is endless. But today, the problem is nobody wants to invest in it, because waste to energy till today is considered more as a solution for tackling the waste rather than generating energy. And that too because if anybody who is a bulk generator of waste knows that the Pollution Control Board expects them to dispose the waste on their own. So for them, the main concern is, I want to get rid of the waste at cheapest possible way. I don't want to worry about what happens to it. And if, by the way, I get some revenue out of it, that's good for me. But main concern is to get rid of the waste. And these plants are capital intensive. So we are talking about, if I'm setting up a 2-ton gas per day plant, it will cost anywhere between 6 to 10 crores. So spend that kind of money for waste disposal, people are reluctant. Now if I'm going to go back and tell them that, look, you need to spend additional this thing for, we'll have a smart grid, we'll have a smart monitoring, we'll have remote monitoring and all, nobody's going to be interested in that. So we need awareness, and we have to start looking at these plants not as an alternative source of energy, but a mainstream source of energy. And I'm quite hopeful that this is going to change very fast, because in the last 1 year, when we have seen that we are getting arm-twisted about buying oil from Russia, and the last 10, 15 days, we have seen how dependence on external sources for our crucial energy opens the doors for foreign powers to interfere in our decision-making. It restrains us, constrains us from taking decisions which are needed and are crucial for our country. We are restrained, we are not able to do that. So now the whole focus is suddenly shifting and saying, yes, renewable energy is something which is mainstream and we can utilize that. And especially when you have unending source of waste. Organic waste is 60% of the waste which is getting generated today, and majority of it, if I'm not wrong, 80 to 90% goes into landfill. And we do not have the space. We do not have the luxury of saying that I will dispose it and will think about it someday later. Today we have to seriously think about utilizing this waste and converting that into energy. So I hope that this change in this geopolitical situation, where we are today struggling for LPG and CNG, a lot more investment will happen. Because the central government did come with the Satat scheme a few years back. It did help a lot, but they expected that at least 5,000 units will be set up. But in the last 3-4 years, if I'm not wrong, some 20-odd units only have been set up. And if I'm not wrong, there are only 10 to 12 people in the country who are capable of setting up these plants. So we need a lot more people to come in. We need a lot more technology to be invested into this. And we need a lot more investors to look at it as a commercially viable way of generating energy.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, as we have spoken widely on the AI and changing dimensions of technology and workforce as well, coming to the last segment, we have a short answer, or I would say a rapid question that I would like everyone to answer. So let's start with Akhlesh ji.
Yeah.
One technology that will transform India the most.
Well, AI, definitely.
And one skill every young Indian must learn.
Well, critical thinking.
Nice. And last one is one policy change that could accelerate innovation.
Well, government should reduce governance. I think they're doing too much. I think still there's a lot of government interference, and that can definitely get reduced so that industry can move faster.
Great, thank you. Questions are same, so I'll repeat. One technology that will transform India the most.
From artificial general intelligence to artificial super intelligence very soon, before we know it.
And one skill that you would want every young Indian to learn.
Yeah. Don't adopt to change, embrace the change, inevitable.
One policy change that could accelerate the innovation.
AI as a ministry, I cannot emphasize this point more. AI as a ministry has far too many problems to solve. We need policies for AI, and we need AIs also to do the policies. So all of these things are very, very critical.
I think I can answer the first one without even, because that's the first, I think that's a very common one for everyone, right? But I would give a different flavor towards it. I would not say Gen AI would be the technology. I think upskilling would be the technology which would be required, because there's a tremendous amount of human potential is untapped still. So keep yourself updated, keep yourself upskill. Today is Gen AI, today will be next AI or something, but humans will be irreplaceable. We will be conquering it year after year.
One skill every young must learn.
Sorry?
One skill that every young Indian must learn.
One skill?
That every young Indian must learn.
At this point in time, it's AI.
And any policy change that could change the innovation.
I think a government can do a lot on the education side. They should mandate these new age skills right from the education, at the general education level. We are teaching kids a lot of education which is not relevant from the today's perspective, but these conversational assistants can be brought into the curriculum much in advance, so that when they are coming towards the age of 13 or 14, they can start making differences. Because future would be all about not how to do it, but how to get it done. So that's the difference one should bring it about.
So I'll rephrase the question now.
Yeah,
Apart from AI,
first
which
question,
one
like,
technology that you feel?
Yeah, I would
will
like to
develop?
add AI. AI is the current era, which like mentioned, ChatGPT was 10 years ago. It has taken the shape right away. Similar time inflection point is for quantum. So AI plus quantum intelligence is going to be the next disruption, and it is, of course, next one.
And one skill that everyone should learn?
Yeah, that's really, one should able to reach to the new technologies and adopt it whenever, whatever comes. Yeah, and we are living in a very affordable era of data intelligence. Anyone can learn anything in a quick session. So just use this and get forward.
Any policy change that you would?
I think this AI has lots of advantage and disadvantages. So AI governance, we need an LLM and other, like I said, model extraction is very common. So we have governance and the policy and biasness. AI has bias. Who has produced, it will be biased. If US has produced something, it will be biased with the US, not the Indian. So that's biasness we need to rule out, and yeah, that is the.
One
First,
technology?
I know. So according to me, agnetic AI plus digital public infrastructure, because Gen AI mostly can write everything, agnetic will execute it. So this second, should I also answer? I remember the question.
Yeah.
So second, according to me, the skill should be very basic, learn or unlearn and relearn, which is very important.
So, and the last one, the policy change.
I'll say two policies here. First, because being from IP should be taught from school days. Second, data protection, because in this AI, in this social media game, in this digital economy, data, and we have become the data.
So we'll start reverse this time.
No, I'm going to say I'm going to skip the first two questions because
Yeah.
everybody has covered
Yes.
enough and more of it. The last question, this is something I'm going to elaborate a little, so please indulge me in a little bit. One policy change I want here is that any business, irrespective of whether it's a chai tapri you have it or Reliance kind of an industry, it comes with a risk. There is no business which says there is no risk there. Business is always associated with risk. And entrepreneurs are, I will say, they are a little off their rockers. I'm an entrepreneur, so I can say that confidently, that we take risk knowing that there could be a possibility of failure. And a lot of time, despite our best efforts, all your planning is correct, you have mapped your customers, you have mapped your product, services, everything. There are times when things do not work the way you want. And India, we get punished for doing this. Instead of respecting that somebody has taken the risk of trying something. They say that Edison failed for 100 times before he came up with the bulb. Just imagine if the first failure, if he had been punished, he couldn't have done anything. But in our country, and if you have the unfortunate this thing of going and taking a loan and starting a business, today even a kirana wala's shop takes about 6 months to get established. But our banks expect us to start repaying right from the 3rd month. My plant takes about 4 months to even set up. So every time you fail, the system beats you so badly that it will not allow you to get up again. Forget about the entrepreneur getting up. His next generation can't think of it because that poor guy has spent about 20 years earning somewhere else, and he has invested that money to start a business. The banks and financial institutes will rip them apart from everything. Every personal property which he has will be pulled out, and this guy will be made to stand naked in the middle of the road. The whole family suffers. So we need to have a policy where you separate the entrepreneur from the business. These are two independent entities. Give some kind of a safety net for the person to come up again. If you're going to change his credit rating because he has failed first, and you don't give him any recourse to change it ever, because that black mark will be there in your credit rating forever. What happens is you cannot get a credit card, you cannot get another loan, you can't do anything. And today, everything is connected. So you can't go anywhere to do anything. And there are times, and most of the entrepreneurs there, yes, there are few people who are starting quite young, who are the middle-aged people who are starting, they can't even go back to a job now. So our policy should be able to support those people who are innovators, who are ready to take some risks and do something new. So instead of punishing them, please reward them. I know in Silicon Valley, when the startup boom was happening, they were looking for CEOs who had failed before. They were not punished. They were looking for CEOs who had failed, because what they were saying was, if a CEO has failed before, he knows what things can go wrong, so he will make sure that those don't get repeated in the new company. But in our country, we beat them up so much that both financially and socially, the person becomes a pariah, nobody wants, everybody looks at him and say, hey, this guy is a failure. So this taboo has to go, and government has to provide a safety net for people who are ready to take some risk.
And I don't think we need a separate conclusion than a perfect conclusion part for every business leader or entrepreneur. So thanks a lot to all the participants, and thanks for the audience. I know it's
Dhruv, I just want to make one point. Yeah, I think somebody wants to fire a question, but now is the right time. We have created grounds for wellness as well as life coaching.
So, hi, my name is Dr. Neha. My question is to Dr. Shweta. I really loved how you covered the protection part. With great power comes great responsibilities. That's how we move forward. India faces one of the biggest workforce challenges in technology-driven economy. What will determine whether technology becomes India's greatest advantage or biggest disruption?
Well,
Want me to repeat the question?
yeah. So, well, every technology bring a new changes to it, and it's going to be advantage only, because now we are seeing lots of data processing, and with AI, quantum, things are moving up, National Quantum Mission or Impact AI Summit. These are all bring everyone on the same platform that no one lags behind. So obviously it's going to bring some revolution, and it's going to be advantage for that one.
Only advantage?
Yeah, disruption is always there, like deep fake is always a part of that. And you can see lots of videos of politician or film star or anyone. You can change the dynamism, or you can affect any election out of that, right? We have seen in the past. But at the same time, there is a quick analysis comes out, and it brings a revolution, changes that these are the fake videos and others. So it's have both the points. Like if you see example of nuclear technology, 1950s it evolved as a nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Fission was for getting energy, which we are getting in nuclear energy. Fusion was like for disruption, which we seen the devastation of Nagasaki, Hiroshima. So it depends how you are going to use. Every technology has a two sorts, first and get. It depends on how you use it. And in India, we have a good government policies and all. We are going in a good way. So it's going to be a benefit for that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.